situation who can even be a bridge to get us to the other side. But I think when we get to the other side, it'll be the other side of realness.
I think Joe Biden has a chance to be LBJ.
Next LBJ.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I don't believe you can be a Democrat and be a Christian at the same time. I just don't believe it.
That's why you better be independent. You can't be a Republican and a Christian at the same time either. Just ask the evangelicals.
What up, everybody? This is Lamar, and this is TFG Tonight. As you caught me with my phone in my hand, but I was sharing the broadcast, which I'd like to ask you guys to do. If you would, take a moment and share this broadcast. We have a lot of great topics to get to tonight, and I am very excited. I have a great cast and crew that's going to be coming on in just a minute, not just yet, but we're going to be talking about some great things. So go ahead and share the YouTube link if you watch it from YouTube, if you watch it from Facebook. Say something in the comments, say hey, so we know that you're watching, so that we can kind of have more of an interactive conversation. We don't only want to entertain and allow you guys to watch us go back and forth, but we want to entertain, we want to educate at the same time. This is a very important season of the year, election season, and we want to make sure everyone's as informed as they can be in this time. And we're going to do that by having conversations. So let's bring on our cast and crew for tonight. You've seen them before. Madison Page is in the house.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you. Javier, say it twice, is in the house.
Yeah, you.
Mr. Ricky Walter II is in the house. And bringing up the rear, Mr. Brenton Haynes. Last but not least.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So let's dive right in. If you guys are looking, I've titled this broadcast Andre Montgomery. Why? Because there's a big story out right now. Andre Montgomery Jr., who watches Sweetie Pies? Did any of you guys watch Sweetie Pies, the show on OWN network? The lady had the restaurant, the soul food restaurants, and her son Tim was helping her run these restaurants after he got out of prison. He opened one in LA, and they have them in St. Louis. He opened one, I think, was trying to in Houston. Great show, actually. I followed it religiously. But yeah, he's a felon. Just want to run down his, not saying there's nothing wrong with him, just want to preface all of it by saying that he was in prison for 10 years, got out, helped his mom run the restaurant. She sued him a few years ago because he was trying to kind of take over how she was running the restaurant. She'd been running the same way, and she didn't want to really divert, but he wanted to kind of take over. And now we learned that he was involved in a murder. And I'm going to dive deeper into that in just a second. Just a little background on Miss Robbie, who runs these restaurants. She was an Ikeette. She was one of the backup singers for Ike and Tina Turner. So she's got a little fame behind her.
Did they do a paternity test on Ike?
Right, good, right.
Just ask.
They have to beat it out of them.
Right.
So basically, she moved her nephew Andre Montgomery, the name you see at the bottom, from Texas, I think Houston, to St. Louis to get him away from just getting in trouble and different things that were going on. So she moved him there. She gave him a job. He ended up graduating high school. And shortly after that, we heard on the news and on the show that he was murdered. They didn't really say who did it, but we found out this week that Tim, her son, this guy's uncle, put a hit out on him.
Allegedly.
First off, he got an insurance policy on him for $450,000 a couple of years ago and was the only beneficiary. The person who he used as his insurance agent was a producer for one of Nelly's songs, one of the big songs in St. Louis.
It sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah, so these two conspired together, basically. So Tim has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, I think, and also wire fraud or something or another, got to do insurance fraud, some other kind of fraud. Said all that to say this dude was so hard up or so crazy that he hired someone to murder his own nephew. No one knows
Allegedly.
why. What'd you say?
Allegedly.
Spoken like a true conservative.
Hey, I believe in innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah.
Got a lot of brothers that appreciate that one, wouldn't they?
And
I know, right?
He smiled on his mugshot. I want to talk about that because I want to talk about black on black crime. Because I know some people on here don't like to use that term and don't feel like they feel like it's not a thing.
Well, let him define what it is so we can call it what he want to call it. Then we'll go from there. What you want to call that one, Rick?
Ricky don't believe it's
I call it crime. I call it murder. I call it crime. That's what I call it.
And what's wrong with calling it black crime?
Because there's no, when you call it, that's just a term that was used by white supremacists to put in fear of black people that we are more violent than white people. So we kill each other at a higher rate, which is not true. But I'll let Lamar finish his statement, but it's just crime.
My question is, I just want to continue the conversation. Look at Lawrence. I just want to continue that conversation on crime in Black America and figure out what can we do to slow it down or stop it. I know we talk a lot about police brutality and things of that nature, but what are we doing? What can we do about the crime in our own neighborhoods?
So I think there's one very important distinction that we have to make. Because I have no issue with saying black on black crime. We have an issue in our community, but I don't want to contrast that with crime that's happening, that brutality and murders that are happening between agents that are acting under color of law and under the authority of the state, who have been entrusted with and sworn to serve and protect. Crimes that happen between those people and the populace are different than the crimes that happen between private citizens and private citizens. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other, but they are fundamentally different because one is an agent of the state acting on behalf of the state under color of law, and the other is a dispute between two private citizens. Now, to speak with regard to the crime that happens within our own communities, I think it's really important that when we look at crime, that we ask, how did we get to this place? What are the root causes of crime? What are the root causes of crime, and how do we prevent those root causes to begin with? When we have over-policing in our communities, or if we have opportunities that, for example, if you do end up getting caught up in the justice system, it can be very difficult to come back out and get a normal, regular job. It's not impossible. It's not an excuse. However, those systems do actually exist, and they are in place and can be prohibitively difficult to overcome. So I think we have to actually start to ask ourselves, most crime in our communities are crimes of opportunity. And in fact, most crimes in any communities are crimes of opportunity. People need money for drugs. They need money for.
Come on, man. Come on now.
They need money for drugs. They need money for rent. There's violence. Maybe people are there are financial concerns. Most crimes are this way. This is not just black people.
Come on now. I was with you until you kind of went off the rails there. Like,
people don't just go out and commit crimes for nothing.
Yeah, they do sometimes. A lot of the times they do.
But most of the times they don't.
Okay. Let me explain something. I am somebody who was a troubled youth. I spent 5 years in juvenile, from 15 to 20. I came out a grown man. Most of the crimes that I committed wasn't because I was in dire need of anything. Most of the crimes that I committed was because I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be cool. I was going along with a stupid culture that highlights gangster mentality and teaches young black kids that it's okay to sell drugs. It's okay to hurt your fellow man. So there's a lot of that going on as well. We can't just chop it up to most crimes are because people are in financial situations. not necessarily true. In America, some of the poorest people in our country are fat. They have refrigerators full of food. If you go into the grocery store, somebody who works a job, I work 14 hours a day, and I go in the grocery store and I see somebody who doesn't have a job with more food in their basket than I have. That's America for you. So let's not spin this narrative that people are only committing or mostly committing crimes for certain reasons. Yes, that does happen, but it's not on the scale that you think it is.
Well, I think,
Okay, so
yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
let me.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that those crimes, like you said, you were trying to be cool in the community, and because it was cool to sell drugs, it was cool to be a gangster. We have to ask ourselves, where do those come from, and how do we work around them? And the person, listen, I don't think this is a left and right issue. I really don't.
I agree.
I think that there's plenty of opportunity for people to actually take a look at all of the root causes. We do have a culture issue in our community, but we also have a lot of poverty. We have a lot of poor education. Our schools are horrible. We have a lot of limited opportunity. We have a lot of things that need to be addressed systemically in our communities that are causing these problems to deepen.
No. I have to.
Let me say this right quick.
Okay.
There is data that shows that
There's
people
data
are
to show
twice-
everything, though.
people are twice as likely to commit crimes and violent crimes if you're poor. And so to say the economic situations of these people in these communities don't affect them and cause crime to be at a higher rate is simply not true.
So this is what I'm saying. Okay, and this is what I really want us to focus on for tonight is this group. Like our perspectives. This man just gave a perspective from his personal experience, and that makes it true, right? Nobody can invalidate that man's experience, right? Nobody can invalidate what Madison is saying. I want to invalidate what Ricky is saying. What I want us to do is treat this like we at Big Mama's house and it's Sunday dinner. It's soul food. And we got to put all the dishes on the table. And if you don't like something what somebody got on the table, that don't mean you want to take it off the table. We just got to let it sit there. Because for us to unpack every reason of why people are committing crimes, we'll be here all night, right? Mm-hmm. That's a ball of yarn that we have to try to unravel. I will categorize, if I could, 2 categories of why people commit crime: for need and for greed. I think that can lump everybody into those 2 categories, right? Data, no data, experience, no experience. Either you need it or you're doing it for greed. Like he said, he did it because he needed to fit in. Some people are doing it because they want more. So at that point, we talking about a situation where this dude was being greedy, right? And he affected his family, but it started because he went to prison. And I don't know what he went to prison for, but if you're going for 10 years, you ain't going for credit card fraud.
I think he went to
robbery or something like that.
I think it was robbery.
But that's okay. So that's what I'm getting at. So it's too much to unravel for us to say that, oh, I got the right answer. No, we don't have the right answer. It's too many answers to give.
Are you saying that he went to prison? He committed this murder because he went to prison, or
no? That makes it easier when you steal for the first time. Like somebody stealing in Walmart, that ain't their first time stealing, right? They stole from Big Mama out her purse. Or they stole from their auntie and their car. It didn't just happen like that. So when you that big, when you that bold to want to kill your people, bro, that ain't your first time. That's what I'm saying, man. So
I don't think most people out there that murderers are serial killers. So I would say most people that murder somebody for the first time is probably
they start with cats and dogs.
Yeah,
right.
But I want to clear something up. I agree with a lot of what all of y'all said, for the extent that black on black crime is just crime in a way. But I may agree with you for different reasons. I don't agree because white people supremacists coined the term. I'm really not concerned with that. I'm more concerned with crime is crime. Let's stop inserting this race issue into the factor. But I want to bring up this simple fact. If you have a father in the home, you're 12 times less likely to go to prison. You're more likely to graduate. You're more likely to graduate high school. You're more likely to be successful in life. That's a fundamental fact. And as we speak, the single motherhood in the Black communities right now is over 70%, and that's going drastically up since the 60s. So we have to account for that. That's a very important factor when we talk about, people going to prison and going to jail and committing these crimes against one another. We have to address that at some point.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of strikes against Sweetie Pie's son, right? Because she looked like she was a single mama, right? And she
her husband was murdered. Yeah.
That makes her a single parent.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is what I'm saying. So as you begin to then factor in more and more things that make things obvious about the situation, of course he was headed down that street, right? And
Allegedly,
then,
right?
come on, y'all.
Right.
Listen, this you know what?
The legal department will be glad that you used allegedly in your
Allegedly.
listen. Y'all keep that for the white folks, right? White people are so selectively objective, it ain't even funny, right? Because unless they agree with it, then it means, well, has it been proven? Come on, y'all. We use our common sense, right? And it ain't much common out there, but we at least try to use our common sense. I really don't. We're gonna call a spade with a spade on this show, as far as I'm concerned. And the dude did it, you know what I'm saying? Because when you look at the video, look at that big old suit jacket he got on, looking like he in the pen. You know what I'm saying? Like he did.
But look now. When Jussie Smollett came out with that story, and
I didn't believe that at all.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm not quick to accuse anybody or anything.
But we were quick to defend this. We were quick. Like that brother.
Everybody ain't knew he was lying. Everybody. Everybody knew he was lying. Right.
We were really quiet, wasn't we?
Yeah, he wasn't that cute.
Juicy Spoulier.
So Lawrence has said something in the comments a couple of times. He said our homes are broken. That I'm assuming we're talking about the contribution of fathers not being there. What do we do about that? Why are
I want to say one thing about that. I just want to say, I want to say a couple things about it. I think it's going to be really, I think it's really important that we be very, very careful about buying into this idea that Black men are not involved with their children. That is not true. What we are learning is that Black men are actually very involved with their children. Now that doesn't mean that they are that we have two people living in the same house, but there was a study done a couple of years ago that actually
by the CDC
actually demonstrated that Black men are spending a lot of time with their children. They actually are quite involved with their children. That now they are not in the same homes as their children oftentimes, and that we can have that discussion. However, I think it's very important that we not give energy to this idea that Black men are not involved with their kids. That's not the claim. That's true. I haven't seen that in my experience, and I don't believe that that's true. And the studies that I've seen are saying that that's not true. Now, we do have a larger percentage of single Black women. I do think that can present certain problems, but I also think that we, and I'll just say this, I will say this as a polyamorist and a non-monogamist. I think that we have a lot of, and as a Black person who respects respects our ancestry. I would say we should be exploring a lot of different collective and community ways of nurturing our babies to make sure that they have stability and that they have love and support, not just from mom, not just from dad, but from the community. I think this is more aligned with us as Black people. I think this is more well aligned with us as Black people. And I do think that that the idea of sequestering people into these nuclear little families where you're isolated from other people because we're all going to be in this little thing, I don't think that that's really aligned with who we are as a people. And I think we can do better.
Let me say something on that, because
I'm after you after that one.
Because I'm polyamorous and I'm a conservative and I'm married. I have a wife.
What is polyamorous? I'm sorry, guys. I'm agreeing on that.
Polyamorous is like polygamy instead, but without it being one man and multiple women that he married to. Everybody's in a relationship together. So it could be two men, two women, all dating each other. It could be it could go in many different forms. It just depends on the people that's in the relationship and what they're open to. It could be an open relationship, swinging. It just depends on the people in the relationship.
Polyamory is the act of, somebody put it right there. You have one or more consensual relationships. Both partners are allowed to or consensually agreeing to give each other the freedom and autonomy to see other people, to have relationships with other people, to develop connections with other human beings on the planet.
I'm not polyamorous, but I would say that's probably the the best way to live life.
Okay, so
it is.
Okay, all right, here y'all.
I think
so this is what I want to say about all this.
I think
all right, so this is the thing. Again, I'm gonna lay my dish on the table, and I don't know who turned the blink on, but we making a hard right for this one. So this is what I want to say to y'all. Like,
let's stay with
honest with y'all. No, because now y'all made the right. I'm going with you. I told y'all what I was gonna do. I'm coming in this thing like John Wick. I'm coming. So this is what I want to say to this. A lot of times our position is because we stepping on our toes when somebody pursues in a direction that you are in and you feel like that's infringing on what you want to do, then you begin to want to be defensive towards the truth of what's going on. And again, everybody's grown, everybody can do what they want to do, but you cannot say that I don't support the truth about what's wrong with the broken system just because you're enjoying the benefit of whatever type of relationship you're in. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth be told, it's 4 men sitting on this panel, and I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced some sort of brokenness in the home, right? And we have our own residual from that. So for us to sit up here and say that we can't, the experience is sitting right here, man. Listen, I could preach this thing for 20 minutes about what my mom and daddy messed me up in, right? But I ain't got time for that. But I just don't want us to get caught up saying, well, don't get in my closet. No, it's all right. Let's move on to something. No, y'all, this is the reason why it's broken.
This is why I'm trying to.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think
I never got to finish what I was going to say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to make it real quick. I think that what she was trying to say was, and she said it.
Who is she?
Clearly, Madison. Miss Madison is that.
Let her speak now. I don't want you to do that.
Okay, let me finish. What Miss Madison is saying is that the CDC, the studies was showing that black fathers are present in their kids' lives. Now, you're right. We're not in the same homes, and as to Javier's point, that's probably an issue. That's an issue. And the data shows that kids do better when they have both parents in the home or multiple parents in the home or whatever, whether you woman or woman or male or woman and male, it don't really matter. They do better with, loving homes.
See, again, there you go. That ain't what it said. It said men in the home. Not none of that. Not none of that same sex stuff. We talking about men in the home. See, again, there y'all go.
But see, you're focusing on what you want to focus on. You didn't listen to what I said.
I'm focusing on what you're saying, and I'm telling you, like I said, when we start getting into y'all wheelhouse, y'all be wanting to
hold on. Okay. Calm down.
No, you calm down.
Calm down.
Come on, y'all. I'm ready.
Calm down and listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I just said.
Doc.
Listen to what I just said. The CDC, they have data to show that black fathers are present in their kids' life. They're just not in the home. We are less likely to get married.
See, that's another ball of yarn right there. You see what she just said? Some homes have fathers who are abusive, emotionally. And again, that's another yarn. That's the truth.
There's nothing wrong with what she just said. That is true.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
All right, then we'll go to Javier so you finish this point.
We're acknowledging that it would be a good thing for a child to have multiple sources of support and love in the home. Now, we may disagree about whether that has to be, because there is no evidence that same-sex couples are giving the children have a worse outcome. But I'm not going to get into that. All of those things are different. Like you say, all these things are separate. We can, if we're going to have this adult conversation, we can acknowledge at the same time that, yes, the studies do show that Black fathers are involved in their children's lives. Let's not give breath to that lie that Black men are not involved with their children. They are. But we can also at the same time say, but we don't have enough of them in the home. And we can, in addition to that, say, not all of those environments are healthy environments. All three of those things can be true at the same time. And I don't think we have to say, oh, well, no, this is about, all of those things can be literally true at the same time. This is a conversation that requires nuance and requires us to be, like you said, if we're gonna have it, we're gonna put all the dishes on the table. We can't ignore the damn one dish or the other dish. These are all the dishes. And just because you don't like the fact that he's saying the Black men are involved with their children, you can't leave that. You can't push that dish off the table. That's the truth.
That's right.
And we can't push the dish off the table that it would be good for men to be involved in the home. Nobody's denying that. But we can also not push the dish off the table that, you know what, if it's an abusive and toxic situation, if it's not a healthy environment, it's not going to be good. It's actually going to be detrimental to the child. Okay, right? We can acknowledge all three of those things simultaneously. Because
Harvey, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm just listening, trying to take all this in. Last time I was doing a lot of interrupting because I had a lot to say, so I'm trying to be more, humble. All right.
Come on, guys.
I think we got some word games going on here. The argument is that we don't have fathers in the homes. Then they come out with a study and say men are spending time with their kids. Not the same, right?
Yep.
So what they're trying to do is a little trick,
Sleight of hand.
It's a sleight of hand. Now, I don't think that fact is relevant. Whether you spend the time with your kids or not, it's not changing the fact that the crime rates in the Black community are significantly higher, and this is a major contributor to that. We have to realize that fathers in the home provide structure for young Black kids and allow them.
Say good father. That's right. Yes, right.
Good fathers. So we can stop muddying the waters.
That's right. Please.
Having fathers in the home, good fathers in the home, it's just better all around. And right now we have a culture which is not encouraging that. It's not allowing men to be men, for one, and secondly, it's incentivizing people not to have two source incomes in the house if you want to get that food stamps, those welfare. Those government programs.
Manipulation. So this is why I want to put some casserole on the table, and I'm gonna say it just like this, and I ain't scared of nobody behind the scenes, on the scenes. I'm gonna tell y'all, if you're defending a position because you made this to be in the situation you're in, you're wrong for that. And to try to diminish the truth that good fathers in the home 24/7 is better than you being there half the time, then suck it up, buttercup, and make a better decision next time. So stop trying to be defensive just because we're saying that people made better decisions and are helping children than what you decided to do. So don't come in here talking about you agree or you no, I'm a good father. No, you should have been a better father had you been there all the time. Now, for whatever reason you're not there, that's between you and the person you with. But at the end of the day, the truth is that if you was in the home, you giving your children a better percentage of being better than they were. Stop trying to be cute and say, oh no, but I'm here. I'm there every other Saturday. All right, I ain't okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell you.
So I can speak to something like that. I'm a divorced father that kids live in Houston that his kids every weekend, and my kids is here in the summer. Every other weekend, my kids in the summer. I'm a damn good father, and it didn't work out.
But you could have been better.
Could I have been a better? Could I had a better? No, I'm a great father. Could I had a better relationship?
You could have been better. No. Since you put yourself out here, let's talk about it. I said, could you been better?
Didn't you just earlier say that you can't just throw somebody's lived experience out? Now here you telling him what he's doing. You just said that we can't throw out somebody's lived
Javier's
experience.
lived experience.
So you want to throw his lived experience out. In fact, you won't even let him
but
finish.
all I asked was him to
Right.
acknowledge the fact.
It was a question.
Because of what you want to believe, your preconceived bias, you won't even let him finish telling his lived experience.
Madison, this is what I'm saying. I said, this is what I'm telling him.
I heard
said
what you
that
said.
he could. That's right, because the study showed that if he was in the home all the time, it would have been.
You
It can be better.
finish talking about his lived experience. You wanted to tell him based on your own bias what you want
Well,
him.
I actually know.
Because you disagree with it.
You actually know that I'm not. You actually know I could have been a better father.
No, I know. I know your experience. So she's saying I'm assuming that I do know.
You know my experience well.
That's what I'm saying. So
you know my ex-wife pretty well. It ain't right. It didn't work out. It probably would have never worked out. But that don't take the fact that I'm a good father, and I not just because we're not in the home, we co-parent now extremely well together, and so and that's what you got to do. So everybody's situation ain't the same. In everybody's situation, you can't be in a home together. It don't work out. Okay, but I think the CDC, the study wasn't done to say that fathers wasn't in the home. The studies were done to show this myth that black fathers are not there at all. That's what the study was shown to say. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you that yes, kids do better when they have parents in the home. That's like we all say. All those statements can be true. Every last one of them.
I agree as well with that, and I can talk about my lived experience. I'm divorced. I think we got divorced around the same time, right?
49% of marriages in a divorce.
However,
two kids in the pod
is a little different. I'm back with the kids and the mom. Every situation isn't like that, and it's not even possible for every situation to be like that. But I can say, with my experience, my kids are better while I'm in the house. So I'm glad that there was still an avenue back, because I see the difference of how they are and how their behavior is.
That don't go towards you being a bad father or not being as good of a father when they were out of the home than when they're in the home.
I feel like a decision that me and their mom made to get divorced definitely affected them.
That's right.
So a bad decision was made by both of us that did affect them negatively. That does put them back, in my opinion. That does set them back a little bit and affect them negatively, for sure.
Right, and I don't feel my decision to get divorced was a bad decision. I feel like it was the right decision for both of us. You know, I
don't want to get us bogged down. We shouldn't get bogged down in this area right here because, like, my mom and dad got divorced, and I think it would have been better if my father was in the home, but he was still there. He was buying Christmas, back to school. He was spending time with us. He would wash our clothes, pick us up, and all that. I still went down the gangster route and still ended up going to jail. All my brothers went to jail, and all that stuff my father was teaching me came back. And now you're seeing the fruits of his labor, even though you didn't see it back then. So it's still possible to be a great father and save your children or do some great work and your children turn out okay. That it doesn't apply to everybody. You know, I want to say this though. If fathers are not the only ones raising their kids, who else is raising their kids? Is it hip hop? Music, celebrities,
TV?
Yeah. Right. We should talk about that. We should talk about the negative influences on children in the black community.
WAP, or whatever it is. WAP.
Can we say it on the show? Can we spell it out?
That stuff is not for kids. It's for adults. And when my kids get a hold
don't have supervision.
That's right. I agree. You know, rap music ain't for kids. I listen to rap music. It's not for kids. So when kids are listening to rap music, certain rap music, stop them. You know, it's all about being a good parent. Really, is what it's about.
I'll answer Brittany's question. She said, "Do I believe parents should stay together for the sake of the children, even if they're unhappy?" Unhappy and being mature is two different things, right? You have to make sacrifices as a mature adult. And just because you're unhappy, because listen, you may want to have a relationship like the ones that they saying, enjoy other people. I don't know what to tell you, but to sacrifice a child's ability to not have the most optimal opportunity to be successful, that's an immature decision.
But
Period.
brother,
Again, we're not talking about.
you're also having a
Give me a high
mistake
five,
saying
brother.
that
Yes,
you also
sir.
make a mistake that
Yes,
the
sir.
sacrificing on both ends. I having to sacrifice seeing my kids every day was extremely tough. My kids, I left. They were 3 and 5, so I'm used to bathing them every night, putting them to sleep, and you go for your whole life change in an instant. And so to say that you're right, it's a tough decision because that is a sacrifice.
And this is the
A major
brokenness.
sacrifice.
This is the brokenness that we talked about from the beginning. And it's so many pieces like shattering glass on the ground that we can't put this junk back together, right? So it doesn't. I know everybody want to defend their position based on their own experience, but at the end of the day, it's broken, and it started because people were making decisions. And that's all I want to say. Unless anybody else want to come for me, and
I want to
I
say
don't
one
mind.
thing real quick, and we should
All right.
let Madison jump back in here. I think is the answer is somewhere in the middle. You shouldn't have to
It
stay
ain't
in an
about
unhappy
toxic
relationship,
relationship.
but also when you have kids, it ain't about you no more. It's
Yeah,
about your
exactly.
kids.
That's right.
So you gotta you and the woman you with or the man you with, you need to put your heads together and figure out the best way to meet in the middle. That's for the sake of your children, and that's
I
all
don't
I
know
can
how.
say on that.
I don't know how people stay on toxic jobs and getting paid, but they can't stay in a toxic relationship, so they call it. I don't know how y'all do that.
I
I
would.
mean,
Well, you're not in one, so you don't know, right?
well, I
The
am in
only,
a
the only,
toxic
the only
job.
You're
fallacy
not
of
in a toxic relationship, are you?
the only, the only thing that I would
Be in
say,
one first before you
and
say
this,
something.
the only caveat that I would add as a non-monogamist and actually as a relationship anarchist is one that I think there's an unfortunate mononormativity and this idea that the only way that children can be supported is with their parents. I completely and 100% disagree with that premise. I believe that children and I believe that culturally as Black people, we know better than that. We had
Hey, mama.
communities, we had
You know.
communities of people
Yeah.
that were support that we were all raising our children together. So I would just say that
How did that work out for us?
the thinking that the only structure that can be healthy and fruitful for children is this man woman married in the same house structure. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying that that's not one option, but what I'm saying is that to open your mind and understand that there are a variety of other healthy options for us to raise our children in. And just because two parents, for whatever reason, are unable to be together in a healthy environment together with their children, does not mean that they cannot find other ways to have environments that are going to be nurturing and loving for their children and to make the best of it. If you cannot make that situation work with the person that you procreated with, that can happen. But it's
Madison.
not the end of the world. There are options for raising healthy children that involve collectivism and community, and that child being supported at every single turn.
Madison, let me say something. I'm polyamorous, okay, but I want you to hear this out. You're going against nature. Look, we talking about a macro level here. Macro level, I don't think polyamorous works for raising children in a
I'm not talking
society.
about
Maybe on a micro level.
I'm not talking about polyamory, though. I did mention that I'm a relationship
talking about
anarchist. It's
community.
a little bit different, but I don't really want to get into that too much here because I understand that we're not really, it's like next level thought.
Yeah, but you also got to think when you say community, you got to realize most young children who are molested or touched on is because of somebody like an uncle or a family friend.
That's true. That's true.
So that increases the likelihood of something like that happening. And it's something called chaos theory. The more you add to an equation, the more likely it is to become chaotic. And what you're doing is when you introduce a community to raising a child, you drastically increase their chances of picking up bad behaviors from people in the community or being molested, touched, or whatever the case may be. So right now we're kind of in that situation. Hip hop is one of the communities.
I wouldn't say.
Because all of a sudden you start trusting all these community helpers, if you will.
No, no. When I say community, I'm speaking about people in your tribe, people who you have in your circle of influence. I'm not talking about the people down the street. I'm talking about
my ex-wife and her husband.
People who are in your
cousins,
which are the ones who are more likely to molest your child.
They may very well be, but that doesn't change just because you're married and you have a house together with your spouse. I mean, that doesn't change because of that. There are people being molested in church. There's people being molested in and when they go to church on Sunday. I mean, look, what I'm saying is all I'm saying is, because you have to use discretion no matter who you are, right? You have to use discretion with your children no matter what. All I'm saying is to open your mind and think about the possibility that there are more options than just, okay, the father and the mother who had the baby have to be the two people who raise it no matter what. I think that that's limiting, and I don't think it's necessarily healthy. I think that if those people can coexist in a healthy way, fantastic, wonderful.
Well, yes. we can't even get that down pat though.
Well,
we can't even get the mom and the dad down pat.
I do think there's some reasons for that, but I don't want to really get into that. All I'm asking is that people consider that there are other healthy options that can be employed. Doesn't mean that you just throw caution to the wind any more than any other. Everything requires vigilance when you're talking about the well-being of children. But at the end of the day, let's not get locked into this is the only way it can be, and if it's not this way, then it's fucked for life. I don't know, because
they didn't talk about no other folks in the garden but Adam and Eve. They didn't say it was.
All right, now you poking.
I'm just playing. Let's go to the next one.
Some people would like it to be Adam and Steve.
Right.
The postal service. So I really like for Madison to give us a little insight on mail-in voting and your thoughts on the pros and cons on mail-in voting versus absentee voting. What do you got on that?
Well, I think, what has happened with the Postal Service destroying those quick sort machines has been really sort of tragic. I'm doing some work for the census right now. I do it every 10 years. I do something. I make it my job to do something for the census so that we are counting our people. And if I take a notice and put it in somebody's mailbox, I've committed a federal crime. I cannot put something in someone's mailbox. That is considered a federal crime because a mailbox is a federal property. But here we've had machines across the country destroyed, and I think that is a tragedy. And we're starting to see some fallback from that. People who were expecting medications or other types of things that they should normally have been able to get very, very easily are not happening. I think my father's a retired letter carrier. And my father's father was a letter carrier. So I come from a line of people in the U.S. Postal Service. My granddaddy on my daddy's side was a letter carrier. And my dad right now, who's 91 years old and healthy and strong, and I live right here with him.
Still carrying the mail?
Was a letter, huh?
He's still carrying the mail?
No.
Hold on, player.
He loved it with his whole heart. He did love that job with his whole heart. He loved being out in the community, talking to people and delivering their mail. So this is personal for me. Yeah. And what I can say is that aside from the political part of it, it breaks my heart because this is a great thing that you can do to put a letter in a box for 50 cents and have it go anywhere in the country within, a few days, delivered straight to your door. Not you have to walk 5 miles to a central post office to get it. I think that is an amazing, amazing service that's provided for us in America. It's amazing. I'm saddened by the fact that so many people are going to have to, I am an absentee ballot voter, so I'm going to have to work around that.
So what's the difference in absentee and mail-in? Is there a difference?
There's not a lot of difference. It just depends on the state that you live on, what they call it. And some states require that you have a reason to be absentee. Other states don't require that.
Let me break it down. Democrats wanted to do universal mail-in votes. They wanted to get most people, if not all people, to mail in their ballots. The Republicans say no, people should do absentee ballots and they should show up to vote like they do normally. Now, I personally think that's the right way to go. I think if you don't want to go out and vote personally, do an absentee ballot. But this whole trying to mandate that everybody has to vote by mail,
nobody mandating that. I don't know where you heard that they're mandating that everybody vote by mail.
They didn't mandate it, but they were talking about doing universal mail-in voting.
I didn't listen. That was. We're in a pandemic, right? So,
Really?
Wait, it's not
really.
Yeah, if y'all forgot, it's a pandemic.
I couldn't tell with all
I
the
wanted to make sure
riots and looting and burning.
Nobody's mandating that. That's the only way you can vote. There are plenty of states that's been voting in by mail. There's Republican-led states that has been voting in by mail.
Absentee ballots.
Voting in by mail, right?
That's absentee ballots.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just different nomenclature from state to state. That's all.
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing.
That's right. But you have this president, right, who is trying to muddy the water here and say that it's wrong to vote by mail, right?
But what's the reason? No. Isn't it because they want to send out ballots to all these addresses? Isn't that
yes, that's the issue.
Isn't the issue that they want to just send out ballots to all these addresses that are in the database that perhaps may go to people that are dead or to the wrong person? Isn't that the issue?
I don't know how they're going to do it, but they do it. They do like
that's
this.
The plan.
No, that's not how it works.
No, they don't. No, you have to request an absentee ballot.
You got to apply for
it. Talking about they're talking about just sending out ballots to everybody in America. And trying to get them to vote that way.
No, that's not what they're talking about. So there's two ways that this works, and I can speak on this with authority because I work in state and local politics, so I know what I'm talking about here. First of all, absentee balloting and mail-in balloting are exactly the same thing. The only difference is that in some states you have to be absentee, you have to have a reason. You have to check off why you can't be in person to vote.
Texas.
So, but it's not any different than mail-in. They're both mail-in votes. Some states do send out ballots automatically. Oregon, Washington, they have been sending out ballots automatically, not to everybody, but to registered voters. If you are registered, they send you a ballot to your registered address. You still have to go through all the things that you normally would with registration. And in fact, some of those states don't even have polling locations. You get a ballot if you're registered, and it comes to your door automatically. And in those states, voting participation is in the 80 percentile, where in the rest of the country, much, much lower percentile of votes of participation. So those
we're not gonna beg people to vote.
Well, we don't have to beg people to vote, but it makes it convenient. Now, what I'm doing with my campaigns that I'm working with this cycle, and I work with state and local candidates across the country, no matter where they're running for office, Democrats, is we are encouraging people to do early voting. And early voting for people who like to do early voting, for people who want to show up at the polls, because we have some problems with the USPS right now because of shenanigans coming out of the White House.
That's not true.
Well, it is true. The postmaster.
There's nothing to back that up.
The postmaster has testified that he's going to go back and undo some of the things that he had previously done, but in some cases,
any input from the White House, he was already planning on doing those changes before.
That's fine.
Okay.
But
how do you know that? I don't think so.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
The problem is a lot of the damage has already been done because the sorting machines, the high-speed sorting machines, a lot of them have been destroyed. So it's slowing down the process. So we have and we can't just quickly replace those. It's not so easy to do. So what we're encouraging people to do is two things: vote early. In most states, early voting will start in mid-October. You can go to your polling station if you need transport. There are mutual aid groups. There are organizations on the ground that can help you get to your polling station to cast your vote. If you prefer to vote absentee, you can fill out your ballot and drop it off directly to the supervisor of elections office. If you need a ride, you should contact your organizations in your area. Many of them are providing transportation to your supervisor of elections office. It is important to note that people cannot take your ballot to the supervisor of elections office for you. In most states, that is not legal. So don't give your completed ballot to anyone. Nobody can collect ballots and turn them in for you. You must do it yourself. Okay, this prevents problems. And then, of course, there's voting day. And there are organizations on the ground that are planning to try to make voting day for people who really want to be there in person, to make voting day a fun thing while you're waiting in line.
Wow,
People
2, 3, and 6 hours in line. That's horrible.
Yeah, my dad's age are not going to mail in their ballot because they don't trust that system. My father is 91. He is going to the polls.
Me too.
But I don't understand the argument, right?
For people who want to go to the polls, but there also has to be another alternative, and to say that, and listen, I think even Javier know the truth here, that to say that Donald Trump don't want people to vote by mail, if you don't want more people to vote, it's simply
Donald Trump is asking people to do absentee ballots himself.
Donald Trump just said, Florida, if you don't win,
this is a conspiracy, man. This is a conspiracy.
So do you think if he doesn't win, it's going to be rigged, just like he said? Do you think that?
It doesn't matter who wins. The other side is going to blame the other side for cheating.
No,
he's doing the rigging. I just don't. Okay, this is my thing. I just don't understand what the argument is if there's already a solution, right? Has any one of us not been outside since March? None of us. Okay,
been outside every day.
That's what I'm talking about. So bump the pandemic and any of that, because listen, after you go to HEB, just swing by your local voting booth and then cash your ballot. That's just it.
Most of y'all know I caught COVID, and let me tell you something. It ain't what you want. So if you can avoid going out, and I tell my wife all the time, let's listen. We're gonna make sure that we can only go out when we need to go out, because
be safe.
Yeah, it's not something that you want. It's definitely not something you want for your family, especially of us who have older parents, and you can easily pass that junk on. And I don't feel comfortable with my mom or my dad standing 6 hours in line.
They don't have to though.
Yeah,
go October 10th.
They do here. You got to have a reason not to vote.
Go Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you can lie. You can lie on them. You can just say you're disabled, and they won't really check. But the thing about this whole UPS thing, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Like, the man already said that he was planning on making changes, and now that everybody's blowing up about it, he said that he's going to reverse the changes and he's not going to make those changes anymore.
But Javier,
Trump never did anything to the UPS. I mean,
the government ain't never. The government. Hold on, Ricky. The government ain't never moved this fast on nothing ever. Right? Just never moved this fast. If they've been moving blue mailboxes since the 80s, they ain't moved as many. They ain't moved as many from 1980 to 2020 since they did in the last 2 weeks. That's just real. That's
Obama criticized the USPS. They cost too much money. They are in debt. They're spending billions of dollars.
It's very convenient that now is the time that they do it.
All of them got to go.
During a pandemic in 2020, that could have been held up.
Bro, they took one off my street.
Trump know what he's doing. Trump know what he's doing with his person he put in that position.
If he gonna do it, he need to do it, because he ain't did nothing yet.
He got caught.
So let me ask you this, Javier, since you're the defender of the Trump, right? 32,000 pieces of mail are moved by these machines, and all of a sudden you take one out, and then you're gonna take away overtime, but you tell me that fixed the problem? Wait a minute, 32,000 pieces of mail. I listen. Don't make rational sense. He
took over 600 of them, right?
I don't even know no stripper at the strip club that can move that much paper.
Oh my God.
I don't know any strippers, so
that's what I'm just telling you, man. So I I don't know how
you were
somebody
doing
gonna
so
move.
good, B.
I don't know how many. I don't know how you
You're
can move
doing so good,
32,000
bro.
pieces of paper. You know what I'm saying? You can't shake that tail feather that fast.
Look, I
So I
don't
don't know
care.
how you do that.
I want to put this out here. I don't care about Trump. Trump
Okay.
is the only person who can defend himself. I don't care to defend Trump. I don't care to defend my daddy. He can defend himself. What I'm just saying is, from what I understand on the facts of the case, Donald Trump hasn't done anything actively that has messed with the USPS and caused it to malfunction for the mail-in ballots or
You
whatever.
don't think he has a caught situation with the Joy or whatever this dude name is, the postmaster? You don't think he did some house of cards?
That contributed all that money to his campaign?
Well, look, I'm not high enough in the government to know all this. So if y'all got special
but you know
information
for a
that I
fact.
don't,
You're
please
not
let me know.
You're not high enough in the government, but you know for a fact the White House
we over time. We're trying to get these other ones out real quick. What else we got?
There are lots of ways to have an impact on something without being the one who's standing there actually doing the thing.
I know.
Donald Trump, made a conscious decision to switch the leadership of the USPS and to make an appointment in the postmaster department. And that postmaster had some things that he wanted to take care of, and that happened. This is how it works, in organized crime. The Don never actually carries out the hit, right? The Don never actually carries out the hit. That's why he can't get the case.
That's funny how.
But listen,
let me say something.
How do you got the insight? He knows that ain't happening, right?
Let me say something real quick. Donald Trump can't be the biggest idiot and the smartest genius at the same time. You got to make up your mind at some point. Which one is he? Please.
Actually, he himself personally is an idiot, but there are Republican operatives who are very, very smart. They're very strategic, and they're very smart and very strategic. They're very smart and very strategic. And since he has an inner circle of people that he
it's other people.
So
listen, Donald Trump is good at crime.
He knows how to reward people who are in his corner. And he knows how to punish
Since we going
people.
here,
he knows how to punish people.
Here.
Here's the what aboutism here. What about Obama?
No. Since we going here, I don't care about Obama. I personally respect Obama for a lot of things.
This idea, what about
I think that whole.
What you about
it's not a what about it. I said since we going here.
Okay.
All right. So you telling me that we live in a country with two parties, and I can only talk about one party?
No. It's just a lot of times when I talk to Republicans, they try to defend their party's fraudulent actions. It don't matter. I'm just saying when I talk to a conservative, they try to defend Donald Trump or his fraudulent actions by talking about the Democratic Party, and you. How do you talk about the Republicans and not talk about Democrats? How do you talk about Democrats and not talk about Republicans? You only compare them to each other. We're talking about.
I don't understand that.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. What are we talking about here? We're talking about what? The UPS system, right?
Right.
Yes.
What do Democrats have to do with that? Trying to suppress the vote right now. Nothing.
We were talking about Donald Trump being either a brilliant genius or an idiot. That's what we were talking about.
He can be somebody who's smart in crime and dumb in foreign policy, which he is.
No, not foreign policy. You might talk about domestic, but foreign policy, Donald Trump has been pretty good on the foreign policy. But
what are
you talking
about? Let's talk about the peace deal. Let's talk about the peace deal that he just helped negotiate with Israel. Nobody else did that.
Let's talk about the terrorists.
What about ISIS? Let's talk about ISIS.
Well, let's talk about Kim Jong-un.
Let's talk about Russia.
Okay.
Let's talk about Putin.
Let's talk about Kim Jong-un. Let's talk about Putin.
Please.
Let's talk about how he have alienated our allies. Let's talk about all that.
Let's talk about all of it. Let's talk about all the allies who are not paying their fair share. They were taking advantage of America.
Saudi Arabia.
Let's talk about Kim Jong-un, who sent back war remains that he never did. Donald Trump was the first president to step foot in North Korea in the last what?
Who cares?
And that show wasn't no genius move.
Donald Trump was the only one. Donald Trump was the only one who threatened Kim Jong-un.
You're giving validity to a dictator. That's what you're doing.
What I'm going to say,
he didn't threaten Kim Jong-un. He didn't threaten Kim Jong-un with hellfire.
Donald Trump.
And then Donald Trump. Did he not say he was a great person too?
You said what? Say that again.
Did he not say he was a great person as well?
Donald Trump he will criticize China and then praise them in the next minute. He's a negotiator and he's also
a terrible one.
You might say that.
Donald Trump has lost the support of the Pentagon. That should tell you everything you need to know about his position and what they think about
the Pentagon works for
foreign policy. He has lost support of the Pentagon.
The fact that you could say he lost support from the Pentagon sounds like treason.
When you have generals come forth and say this guy is not, he is a danger to the country. When you have generals come forth and say that kind of thing, that means that he's lost the faith of the Pentagon. That I've never seen that happen in all the years that I've been on this planet. I've never seen the Pentagon actively come out and say anything negative about a sitting commander-in-chief. But that happened this year. And
I never seen a president openly criticize his intelligence.
Congratulations.
He has lost the support of the Pentagon and the intelligence community.
Let me respond.
That's right.
All right, you want to go down this road about who don't like Trump and people calling out Trump and they never called out presidents like this before. Okay, understood. But this is one thing that I have to point out about the Democrats and the liberals. For some reason, you think that the president is supposed to be liked. You have this assumption that the president is supposed to be a good guy. He's not. He's supposed to get a job done. And I don't care who likes him. You keep thinking
I have the assumption that our government should be working together.
The government is not your friend. The government is not your homie. The government works for you. He's not supposed to be your buddy where you laugh and smile. I like him. He makes me feel good like Joe Biden.
Nobody is saying that. You make that's your assumption, sir. That is not true.
Where are you even getting that from? Who said anything about light?
Where do we get that we think that the president is supposed to be liked?
Who said something about light?
Did you watch the DNC convention this whole week?
As we transition to that,
Javier, try to stay focused, honey. We were talking about Donald Trump, and this conversation really started way back. But we got into foreign policy because you moved off, and now you want to talk about the convention. What do you
y'all brought up foreign policy?
What do you want to actually talk about?
What are you talking about? You brought up foreign policy. I addressed that. You brought up Kim Jong-un. I addressed that.
About DNC now.
In the DNC, you talked about you don't care about the leader supposed to like him or whatever. This whole week at the DNC has been about how good Joe Biden makes me feel, how Joe Biden is such a nice person. Get out of here with that, man.
What are you saying? Because Donald Trump, people like Donald Trump, right? The Republican Party, he got what 90-some% or 80-some%, 90-some% of respect to the Republican Party. So people like him.
A lot of people like Donald Trump.
Don't like Donald Trump. People respect Donald Trump, but a lot of people don't like Donald Trump as a person.
People like him. They don't like him. We're not talking about like.
We're not talking about like. That's you talking about like.
What I'm telling you is you keep pointing out that people are saying this about Trump and people saying this. You keep saying this, but at the end of the day, y'all thought the world was going to be over when Donald Trump got elected. We still here.
Do you feel like we're safer as it relates to our allies and enemies?
Yeah,
abroad. Are we safer now with Trump and the way he's handled?
Trump rebuilt our military, which the Obama completely diminished. Trump was the one.
2 wars. What are you talking about when Obama was president? How did he diminish the military? Answer that question.
He made major budget cuts. He wasn't renewing equipment and getting the latest of the latest. Obama was anti-military for the most part. And when he did use the military, he did it without congressional approval. People like to talk about Soleimani. Let's talk about how Obama bombed Libya without congressional approval, which he didn't get impeached for. but nobody brings that up. The only difference is you pay attention to Donald Trump. Nobody paid attention to Obama. And now when Trump can say some of the same things that Obama said, and you would be pissed off about it.
Actually,
Obama wanted a barrier.
Okay.
Trump wanted a barrier. Oh, all of a sudden, it's racist.
Paul said, Congress did the cut. Was it a Democratic Congress? Probably so.
Yes, it was.
Actually, you're not spending very much time in leftist circles because there was a lot of Obama took a lot of heat from people from us on the left about his military actions.
Yeah,
yes,
really.
Yes,
a lot of bombing came from Obama and a lot of people.
Where they at? Name some big names that was upset with Obama. Go.
Off the top of my head, you can go and look in Compton James. You can go and look in Salon. Any of them. You don't spend a lot of time in leftist circles because we definitely had our issues.
My wife is liberal. Everybody in my family is a liberal.
I am telling you that in discussions on the left, a lot of liberals had a lot of very strong feelings about Obama's incursions and excursions in the Middle East. A lot of us did have issues with that, and we well known that we did.
What? Why we impeach George Bush for lying about weapons of mass destruction? We don't.
Go ahead. I don't care.
That's not a crime. It wasn't a crime what Obama did.
When you do something against the Constitution, that's an impeachable offense.
Why didn't the Republicans bring up articles of impeachment? That's on y'all.
Well, Obama was the one who used his pen to write executive orders after executive orders.
And nobody had more executive orders than Donald Trump.
Obama deported more illegal immigrants than anybody else.
Not true.
We don't talk about this crap because Obama is the savior of the world.
Obama is not president.
Obama put him in cages.
It's not president right now.
It's relevant because the same people who criticize Donald Trump gave Obama a pass.
I'm not gonna let you lie.
All right, y'all. We got one last topic, and then we'll be done because I don't think we got time. We over time. So me and Rick talked a little bit about the DNC and the speeches. Rick, what were your thoughts of Obama's speech?
I thought it was probably his best speech since the 2004 Democratic convention. It was a great speech. I mean, it was precise. Everybody liked to get on Obama for, on the right that he, criticized the sitting president, but Donald Trump criticized every president that's not him all the time. So I don't think if he's not playing fair, why should we play fair?
Right, you're right.
What?
See that?
When they go low, you go high, right? All right, so check this out.
I don't think he said anything that's not true. And if you listen to Michelle Obama's speech, she said that don't mean that you don't fight. It just means that you don't attempt. You don't do the nasty stuff that they did. You just fight back.
What she's like? What'd you say?
I don't believe in going high.
but I would say he made some very great points in that speech. And one thing he made and really resonated was when he talked about the threat of the democracy of Donald Trump trying to take your vote away, and Donald Trump trying to legitimize this election. When you have somebody who is saying that if he doesn't win, the election is rigged, he's already telling you off the top that if I don't win, you cannot trust the vote. And that is a threat to the democracy. That is telling us that that what we're doing is not working. And that is, I believe, is just completely wrong. And so that's an issue for me.
All right, hold on. You done went left. You done went too far. Let me say this about Obama. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about Barack. Like, for all 8 years he was there, he was so politically correct, right? And it was even to the point to where he wouldn't even really dig in. I would respect him more if he dug in deeper when those kids got shot in the schools than for what he did with Donald Trump, right? But my problem is with you, like, everybody thought Trump was going to lose to Hillary, right? And so Barack was being real cool, being real calculated about what he said. But all of a sudden, because y'all know that he gangster, he gonna do whatever it takes to stay up in that piece. Even tell y'all he gonna lock the doors and tell y'all, nah, ain't nobody coming up in here. Now all of a sudden you want to talk big talk, right? Well, that's a little bit too little, too late, Barack, because don't nobody even look at you like that. right? Like you got that gangster.
They was criticizing him at the debates.
You're right, right.
Stage. Come on, like
That's
they
what I'm
even
saying.
knew it. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like it's more.
Kamala Harris and all of other Elizabeth Warren, when they was debating each other, they was calling Barack Obama out for a lot of stuff. Y'all forgot?
Yeah. And again, it sounds like desperation, right? That you got Barack getting out of character, right? And that's what it was. He got out of character. You know what I'm saying? I don't preach it. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm gonna let you go. I ain't asked no question, so hold on. So this is what I'm saying. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. For my issue was he gave a better speech when those people died in Charlotte. When he was being more sincere in that moment, you know what I'm saying, about eulogizing those people than what this was today. All this was to make Paw Joe push him up a little further because he ain't got the energy to do that right now. So I think that was just, Democrats at their political game.
I think that Obama did exactly what his predecessors did before him. Is that in 2016 you don't get into the elections, and name one president that after they've been out of office have got involved in the elections. It don't happen, and so he's not doing anything different.
Listen,
to say that this is out of character.
It was a Democratic convention. Conventions serve two purposes. Okay. For every political party, for the Republicans as well as the Democrats, this convention serves two purposes. One, you nominate your nominee and you adopt your platform, your official party platform. And then the other purpose of the convention is it's a pep rally. It's a pep rally, yes. And the Republican convention will do the same thing this week.
I ain't watching that crap either.
No.
Listen,
I ain't watching that crap either.
The Republican convention will do the same thing this week, and that's okay. The parties have these conventions so that we can make ourselves, it's a time for
the people.
It's for the party.
The same thing that happened at the Democratic convention this week will happen to Republican convention next week. They're going to get together. They're going to rah-rah. They're going to adopt their platform. They're going to renominate Donald Trump as their campaign, and there's going to be a lot of excitement.
I wonder if they're going to get some Democrats to speak. That's going to be quite interesting.
I doubt it.
I want to speak on Obama's speech.
Okay, and then I got one last question after you go.
Oh, man, we could go 2 hours with this thing. All right, look. So Obama, I'm not mad at Obama for doing what he did. Like I say, I respect Obama. Obama was the first black president, man, like half black, half white. But mulatto. But I respect Obama for a lot of things. And he's a smooth politician. I give him that, right? And when he got up there, he made all this about Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Donald Trump that. I ain't got no problem with that. What I will point out is that Obama was in office for 8 years. And right after Obama, we got Donald Trump. So I want you to think about that for a second. We try to act like Trump got in office and everything just went to hell. Why did Trump get elected after Obama? And what was the state of the country when Obama got out of office? Because Black Lives Matter formed under Obama. Trayvon Martin happened while Obama was in office. That Dallas shooting happened while Obama was in office. A lot of things happened while Obama was in office. And we try to
make another right.
They've been killing black folks, honey, since for 400 years. We can't really put that on no one president. Come on now.
It is.
Make another right.
It is.
So let me speak to Matt.
We just happen to have cameras and smartphones now that came to prominence between.
It's Trump.
You can't blame Donald Trump for black people.
We just had a lot more. Right? We had the proliferation of smartphones between the years of 2007 and the present has just gone. I mean, I remember in 2008, I didn't have a smartphone. I mean, I had like an iPhone, but it didn't have the same capabilities that they do now. We saw a proliferation of technology that helped us to reinforce and to prove what black people have been saying
for years.
For a very long time. So let's be rational.
That's not on any president.
I'm being rational. I never said Obama was at fault for that.
You said it all happened under him. Like
I said it did.
You missed my point.
It's irrational What you're saying is
You completely
irrational.
missed my point. You hearing what you want to hear. I
what's the point?
said,
No,
let's not try to
I'm not hearing what I
pretend
want to
like
hear.
all of this started when Trump got in office. That's what I
Nobody
No,
said
said.
that.
nobody
No.
said that, honey. You said that.
You're
What
the
we
one.
said,
Okay.
nobody said that, sweetheart. You said that. You
George
wanted
Floyd.
to draw a line between, well, y'all act like this didn't happen under Obama, and all I'm saying is black people, they've been killing black folks since we got here. So the fact that we now have iPhones and Android devices and anybody can record that shit only just proves that so that's why Black Lives Matter formed. That's why those different movements happen, because now they didn't have to take our word for it. We had the shit on tape. And we said, no, look at this shit.
Stop the lies. Stop the lies.
All this
Rodney
stuff
King was way before 2007.
Yeah.
Get real. Get real. We had cameras back in the 60s.
Rodney King.
Well, where were they?
Like,
But when black people have been saying no, when I got arrested, they planted drugs in my car. They did this and that. Nobody believed that until they had
profiled, all that stuff.
So did Trump get elected for the same reason Obama got elected?
Well, no. Obama got elected for
something totally new, something totally different.
Trump got elected because people despise Barack Obama, and I'm talking about the people that don't look like us, right? They despise Barack Obama.
I don't think that's the case.
Well, hold on. And this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna tell you why. Right. This is the reason why. Because if you know our constituents of lesser melanin, they're very patient, right? And they will wait this out. For us, we real impatient. We gonna attack right after you come after us. But them, they wait, and they waited 8 years. And when I say they waited 8 years, all they needed was their Lone Ranger to give them what they needed to get them over the top, right? They've never been as overtly, not covertly, overtly racist as they are today for about 40 years, right?
Let me ask you this: so, how many conservatives do you know?
I'm one.
Okay. Have you spent a lot of time with white conservatives?
I thought he was
yes.
And do they come off as
have conservative views?
They come off as racist to you?
Okay, so I'll tell you this. This is what they come off as, right? We talked about the sleight of hand, right? They don't want they believe with this QAnon stuff, right? They want a reason to have a problem, right? And so the thing about them is, Javier, this is the issue. They don't want us to think that they're bad. Like that's why, and I say they. I'm not saying it in general.
I get you.
I'm just talking about, right? What I'm saying is, like, they don't want to be embarrassed, right? A lot of and this is the ones that are not being as rowdy as those we can see with our eyes, they're more dangerous than these rowdy folks. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because right now, Trump is embarrassing them. They say, hey, shh. We don't do that in public. we do that behind closed doors. You shouldn't be talking like that about them. Come here, little black people. No. We love y'all. But go do that 40 hours like I told you to do. And I'm only gonna pay you 20 hours. Right?
So
let me 80 hours and I'm gonna
let me say something real quick. Trump has never been more racist until he started running for president. Yeah, we have incidents where he did some stuff in the past that were like the Central Park 5, and he getting sued for not renting to black owners, right?
The birther movement.
The birther movement, right? Those are all things that I think Trump was wrong and should be condemned for every day of the week. All right. But there were still black leaders, black rappers, black celebrities who loved Trump, spent time with Trump, accepted Trump's money, did business with Trump. And some of the same people that laid in bed with Donald Trump are coming out against Donald Trump now. So
Kanye losing his mind though, so we can't.
Well, I ain't talking about Kanye. I'm talking about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson's and people like of that sort. But like
they playing the game though, bro.
That's all it's about. That's all it's about.
Donald Trump also contributed to a lot of Democratic campaigns and all this stuff.
Yes, he did. Right.
Yeah. So when you're all on the same side, we messing with you.
He's not a Republican. At all.
He's
not a conservative.
He's an opportunist.
That's exactly what he is.
And at the end of the day, right, he took the opportunity that Barack Obama gave him, and those that people listen. If y'all don't believe that data is gold, it's gold, right? And when they went and figured out what it was going to take for him to move the stick forward, right? Because that's all he needed.
That was the main thing.
Whatever, but again, it incited that 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 suburban area that everybody thought they wasn't gonna come do it, and as soon as they said, "Oh, we back to making America great again," fire up the truck, we gonna vote, and that's what it was.
But
that's
you
what
know,
they did.
the funny thing is, I meet a lot of black people who think Donald Trump has done more for them than Obama has ever done, and they feel like
that's just Donald Trump repeating. He does this. He repeats stuff.
You can look at things he's actually done that has helped black people. Okay. This is not just rhetoric. These are factual things that you can look at that he's helped black people.
Well,
Obama got the number one job growth out of any president consistently. So
you show me these stats. I still don't believe those stats.
He said it on the speech, and he's right.
All right, look, it's not. Look, you say whataboutism. I compare Donald Trump to not just Obama, but Bush and Clinton, because the only person you can compare a president to is other presidents. That's the only precedent that we have.
So do you think Donald Trump is doing a good job?
In a lot of things,
compared to these other presidents?
There are things that Donald Trump has done that I like, and there are things that Donald Trump does that I really don't like. So if you ask me on specific situations, I'll tell you my truth. A lot of people think that I defend Donald Trump on everything, and I don't.
On balance, do you think he's done more good than harm or more harm than good? Which?
I think he's done more harm than good.
If you're talking about on a social issue, I think he's done more harm than good.
Overall,
you're talking about a policy issue.
No, right now.
You're doing politics wrong.
No, it's pretty simple. Do you think that he's been a good thing for America or bad? Where's the balance? Where is it?
I'm trying to give you the balance. I said socially, I don't think Donald Trump has been a good president. He's very divisive. He has a lot of rhetoric that divides people. But when it comes to a policy level, I personally think from a conservative perspective, I think Donald Trump has been more good for the country.
Well, this is what I would say. Donald Trump has not been good because although you feel like he has done more to excel us monetarily, you do no good when you got your money and the police officer pulled you over after you just celebrated for getting your stock to go up $10,000, and now you in prison with a chokehold, and now you can't even spend it tomorrow. It does no good for that. You can have all the money.
Donald Trump is locking. You think Donald Trump is sending police to lock people up?
Yeah, he's giving them the gusto to go ahead and do it.
The president of the United States has tremendous power. And one of the biggest powers that the president of the United States always has, any president, is the ability to set the tone for the nation. Yeah. And what we're seeing in Donald Trump, he set a tone in his campaign.
Gosh.
And he has set a tone. You're not going to interrupt me this time. And what he has done is
I have a hard time not interrupting you.
He has set a tone for the nation since before his campaign in 2016. And his tone has been one that has, as Benton said, has given white supremacists and other types of people permission to social acceptance for their reprehensible views. And they are no longer ashamed to come out and do some of the things and say some of the things that they've been wanting to say and do for a very, very long period of time. He has given social...
Where's the argument here?
He's removed the social constraint against.
Where's the argument here? This is double thinking. I don't know if any of y'all read 1984, but this is double thought right here. I just simply sat here and said that Donald Trump has been very divisive on a social level.
Did.
I said that. I'm not
debating you. I'm not debating you. I'm just making a general statement that
why she feel like he hasn't been a good president.
That a president has a tremendous power, and with that power, some great responsibility, and he has abused it. He has not been good.
Hold on. We got 2 minutes left to hit this last topic. Do we have an immigration problem?
In my house,
I don't think currently, no, I don't think so. Especially with COVID-19 going on right now, I don't think there's much immigration going on at all. So, I wouldn't say we do.
Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say that there's not an issue with people coming over here legally. There is a way we got to fix the system, but it's this lie that we got this humongous immigration problem. They come over and taking all our jobs. What jobs are they taking? First of all,
Yeah, I
And
can
then
tell you.
And then who are hiring these people? Because I honestly think the people that are hiring them or have the more responsibility to
No,
not then
No,
give them jobs.
their job is profit. Their
I'm gonna
motive is profit.
But we got an immigration problem, and they are fueling the problem, right?
I'm
'Cause
gonna
they
tell y'all that
jobs.
we had an immigration problem when Christopher Columbus sailed the seven seas
There you
and
go.
came to America. Okay, that was when
Came to
immigration
America. He didn't
started.
really come here.
Right. Well, yeah. So this land that was made for you and me was actually made for the Native Americans, and we came over here, and
They came over here as well.
well, that's
They didn't
fair.
originate here.
Who was
That's
here
fine.
before
I don't
them?
have no problem with that. Well, hold
Does
on.
it
Native-
affect wages? Do they affect
Hold on,
wages on the immigrants that
Adam
coming
and
over?
Eve was
He
here.
about to asylum.
Hold
Yeah,
on. So
let's-
this what
Christopher Columbus now.
hold on. This is what I'm saying. Hold on. Here it is. This is what I'm saying. This whole country is aligned with immigrants. So to say that that's a problem, it's only a problem because the immigrants don't like the other immigrant coming over here and taking up their space. That's it. So all of
It could
us.
be both. It could be both. It could be.
Oh,
We shouldn't turn away people who are in need, but
That's right.
also you have to understand that in a country, you have a if you run a government, the government's job is to protect the citizens of that country and to make sure they are okay. So if
They're
you
not
got
doing a
poor
good job of
people,
that though.
if you got poor people in this country, you
All
got
right.
people starving in this country. What in your right mind think you should invite more starving, hungry people into your country? So you got to be realistic about this situation. You can't just look at it from a moralistic perspective.
Murderers,
Is that
Javier,
Lamar?
let me ask you.
Is that
Let me
Lamar?
say
racists, and murderers.
right,
Not
but
all of
Javier,
them. No,
Javier, but let's
not
ask this
majority.
question.
Yeah, that's right,
Javier,
Javier. Some are good people.
Javier, this is a question though. Are we the system that we set up, the way we eat our food, the way we dispose of the type of food that we eat? Javier, do you really think that the government is doing everything that they can to feed us? Like
No.
the capitalism is the problem.
That's not
right?
that's not the government's job to feed us. The government's
But you said
job is to protect our rights and liberties.
they're not
And
doing
we're
none of that.
supposed to do the rest. And if they're not, it's our job, when that Second Amendment comes in, to keep and hold a free state.
Did you
So
say when you gonna
that
shoot them?
Second Amendment coming in. If our government is not doing their fucking job, then it's our job to make sure they do it. Now, I'll say this. Let me finish this real point because it's crucial. I'm not against immigration. I don't think anybody should be against immigration. Most people immigrated here. But to be realistic, you have to have a system set up in place where you know who's coming in, you know who's leaving, and you have a certain amount of people that you can
have that system in place.
successfully maintain. And you can't just sneak into the country. I can't sneak into your house.
You can try. I got my Second Amendment waiting on you.
You see what I'm saying? What's wrong with that?
I'm telling you. Okay. Final thoughts. All right, what's up?
Final thoughts. All right, we'll start at the top and swing around. Let's start with Madison. Final thoughts.
It's always fun to be here with you guys. I love you. My final thought is I'm ready for this 2020 season. I'm ready for this end of an era, and I feel that I've been in politics for a long time. I'm seeing a lot of very promising things happening right now on the left, and I am ready for November, or actually October.
Right.
Mr. Javier.
I'm glad to be here, man. You know, Lamar, I got you. You know, I appreciate the conversation. My job is to bring controversy and make sure that people enjoy the show and we get some real substance out of it. I tend to think in layers, so a lot of times I might make a statement and people might take it the wrong way, but I got a whole bunch of stuff behind it that I'm trying to back it up with. So bear with me. But I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate having a conversation with all y'all. And I say F the Republicans, F the Democrats. I think we all need to take back our government and set up a new way of doing things. So Javier show on YouTube. Check it out.
Nice shirt.
Appreciate it.
Gangster.
All right.
I would like to say, you know, I enjoy talking to everybody as well. I want to say that I'm looking forward to eradicating Donald Trump out of the White House. One thing that we can all say, we can all disagree on policy and all that stuff. I think we all will agree that the during this pandemic when you got over 170,000 people dead has been very, very subpar. And I think most of us would agree that it have contributed to a lot of people dying. And I think that's going to be the main reason why we got to do something to get him out of the White House so we can get some better leadership. That's my final thought.
I need to go last next time.
Well, look, we look alike, so I'll go for you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So this is what I want to say. The reason why I'm an independent is because I believe that the left are very extreme and the right has their own level of extremity. And my problem is that we can't be objective thinkers while we're still trying to push an agenda that don't even belong to us. And so at the end of the day, I think we need to make hold people accountable on both sides. Both parties have their problems. Both parties are not better than the other because they all had over 100 years to get this stuff together, and they still ain't fixed anything, right? And so at the end of the day, I'm saying like this: I want us to keep talking, keep thinking, let everybody's stuff be on the table, and if you don't like it, just don't eat it.
Well, my turn.
Lamar.
All right, I want to thank you guys. This ain't on, but I like for props.
Gotta fake it till you make it, baby.
I can't get it.
Right.
That's you have tricked me this entire time.
For coming on. It's always excellent and great and inspiring to bring on people that are smarter than me, that have different views from different backgrounds, different sides of the aisle. Some of us in the middle of the aisle. So I really appreciate the dialogue, and I thank you guys. I've learned something every time. As it relates to, I want to just kind of categorically go through what we talked about. We talked about the crime in the Black community. I think we should continue that conversation and always talk about it and figure out ways of how we can combat it. I think we can't just lay it down and not talk about it. So I'm glad we're able to have those conversations and also have honest conversations about the Black family. I think that's super important. I think we've shied away from those conversations for far too long. So I'm glad we've been able to have those. As it relates to the DNC, I actually watched a lot of it. I just skipped through and watched certain speeches. And I watched Obama's speech, and I really actually enjoyed the feeling I had while watching it. While I do agree with Brenton that he got a little gangster and out of his character in a way that he never has, that we kind of wanted to see when he was actually in office. But I did get that warm and tingly feeling that I had, feeling like I'm listening to someone that was smarter than me versus listening to a bumbling idiot in Trump and Biden, actually. And what else?
Come on my show.
I need to come on your show too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have y'all on my show, man. That'd be great.
And, I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate you guys. It was awesome. Thank y'all for coming on, and that's all. You guys that are watching, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube, so that you can catch the next show. We're on every Friday and Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We always have a different cast of characters. Some of the people that you see right now are on pretty much every show. So we have our regulars, but you guys are all invited back. They want to come on anytime. We like to have as many as possible on here to hear different perspectives. And this was great. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Have a great week.